You're living in a world where fear is law, suspicion is currency, and the wrong glance at a neighbor could land you at the stake. Welcome to the Dark Ages, a time when the line between reality and superstition blurred, and witch hunts began their terrifying rise. But how did it all start? Was it just ignorance, or something far more sinister? The Dark Ages, a name that conjures images of knights, castles, and plague. But for ordinary folks, it was a time of uncertainty. With the Roman Empire in ruins, Europe was a patchwork of warring kingdoms. Knowledge from the ancient world was scarce, and the church became the beacon of hope or fear for many. Faith ruled supreme. But what happens when faith mixes with fear? You get an obsession with rooting out evil. And in those days, evil had a face. It was the witch. So, how did witches become public enemy number one? The story starts with a few ingredients: famine, disease, and fear. In the 14th century, the Black Death wiped out nearly half of Europe's population. People were desperate for answers. Some turned to science, what little there was. Others turned to the supernatural. Enter the witch. Women, usually older, widowed, or a bit eccentric, were easy scapegoats. If your crops failed or your cow fell ill, it wasn't bad luck. It was her. And then came the infamous Hammer of Witches, or Malleus Maleficarum. Published in 1487, this book turned witch hunting into a system. Think of it as a medieval guidebook for paranoia. How to spot a witch. Torture them until they confess. And spoiler, everyone confessed eventually. By the 16th and 17th centuries, the witch craze had spiraled out of control. Tens of thousands of people, mostly women, were executed across Europe and the Americas. But here's a question. Was any of it true? Did people really believe in witches? Or was this a convenient way to silence the powerless? Trials were more about politics and control than actual witchcraft. Accusations often stemmed from personal grudges or land disputes. But once the church and state got involved, the machine kept running. Here's where things get even stranger. Some accused witches claimed to have made pacts with the devil. Were they lying under duress, or did they truly believe it? And why do so many cultures around the world have eerily similar stories of witches and black magic? Coincidence? Or something deeper? The witch hunts eventually ended, but their legacy lingers. They remind us how fear can spiral into hysteria, and how dangerous it is to let superstition override reason. But maybe the real question isn't, why did they hunt witches? It's, could it happen again? The Dark Ages may be behind us, but their shadows remain. Want to uncover more stories of fear, mystery, and history? Hit that like button, subscribe, and join us on Mythic Marvel for more spine-chilling tales. And remember, question everything.